Hey guys, what's up? It's Kathy, and I'm back with another process video. It's been a little while. Don't mind the birds outside my window. A lot of crows going by and cawing and stuff. Anyway, I'm using the Delusions paint that came in the Hip Kit color kit, and I'm going to use the stencil as well. And I just lightened it up a little with some white acrylic paint, like the craft acrylic paint, the dollar jars that you can get at Michael's. And I'm just blotching it on with a paintbrush, and I'm not trying to be perfect, and it doesn't end up perfect, and that's fine. I'm not looking for perfection. I just want a really cool kind of diamond background effect going on, just to bring in some of that color. It's very similar to the background of the photos that I'm using. I took some photos of my daughter, and there's the wall behind her is like a turquoisey kind of color, and it really kind of brings that out, which is neat. So I'm just doing that. I think I end up covering most of it anyway, but it's not a really big deal. I'm gonna go off and dry that with the heat tool, just because some of it's a little thick, so it's gonna need to dry a little bit. There we go. So I'm using a cut file that I have in my library, and it's from Just Nick Studio, and I think it's called Scribbles or Circles. I'm not sure. I drop it. Just give a sec. What there? Yeah. So I don't end up putting the cut file in the right place. It's not in the place that I wanted it to be. It's where I pretty much had to put it after I dropped it onto my onto my background. So yeah, I just kind of work with it from there. I'm a little disappointed that I did that. I feel kind of silly. I'm gonna back those two uh, frames. They're quite large frames. They're from Heidi Swap. I believe you can actually like mist or color them, and the color resists while the white part would get colored. But I'm just going to leave them white in those areas. I'm not concerned about it. I'm going to back it with some of the papers from HipKit. This one's exclusive. The black and white polka dot is exclusive, and I think even the other one that I back it with might be exclusive. It's like doodle flowers. I don't have the papers right in front of me to remember the name of it, but that's another exclusive one. It's so cute. So they all match really well. I'm really happy with how this is kind of coming together. It's just a bunch of funky stuff on top of other funky stuff, and you know, it might look a little discombobulated and out there and weird, like what are you doing? But I don't know. It seemed very cohesive at the end to me. I really like it. Um, but I wanted to bring in the doodle circles because I didn't want too many square shapes going on. I wanted to bring in some other kind of shapes too. So that's why I brought in that one over any of the other kind of shapes I could have used. And I had used the heart last time in my last layout, so I didn't want to do another heart one. Um, and there wasn't. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna back my pictures in that really funky paper there. That's another exclusive. And then I'm going to use that orange Project Life card that you can see off to on the right, left. Really can't talk today, guys. On the upper left side, I'm going to back a bit of each picture with that as well, just to bring out the orange in the costume. And it's just a picture I took of my daughter in her favorite costume, which is her witch costume. She's a big dress up girl. She loves playing dress up, so she's often in this costume. And she has a wand now that she made at the library, and it was a Harry Potter party, and they could paint wands, and she made a pink sparkly wand. So she's really happy with herself now that she has a wand and can do magic tricks and stuff like that. So I went off and I just kind of gathered up a bunch of items that I had thought about using, because basically when I start going through everything in the Hip Kit Club, like the ephemera and everything, there's so much to work with that I pretty much have to just make a pile and stick to that pile, because if not, I'm just going to go crazy. Um, so I want to do a title that uses the good, because I used the word life from the ephemera in my last layout, and so I wanted a chance to use the good. Um, so I'm trying to kind of piece together a title that says, like, are you a good witch? Kind of playing off of Wizard of Oz. But I do that. I just don't use those sparkly letters, the Fitzgerald, I think, ones, which are some of my favorite out there. They were too tall, and they weren't wide enough for what I wanted, because I wanted it to space across. So I do take them off. I paint the word witch later, just with black art paint. And I just kind of laid the photos down, almost like as if I just kind of tossed them on top, like they weren't perfect. One was a little off kilter, everything like that. And that's just kind of how I wanted it to go. So I'm going to use this wood veneer piece from Dear Lizzie, because it has not, the ampersand to me is just a symbol that I'm using. It's not part of a title or anything. I tried to glue it down, but realized it needed a bit of dimensional foam to stick, and I ended up getting, yeah, you can see I'm getting cross there. I ended up getting some glue on my photo, and I think I do end up getting it off my photo in the end, because I really didn't want to reprint a photo. So yeah, so I'm using that scallop border to just kind of tuck in around there, and I grabbed those circles too, just to add more circles to the layout, just to kind of soften it. I love the Oh What Fun. And then I realized it fits perfectly under the curve there. You can see it fits perfectly with that curve, and I just love how that worked. So I had to do that. Bringing in some more greens to kind of counter the turquoises. I want to bring in some pink, because the glasses that she's wearing are pink. I'm just trying to bring in as many colors as possible. I don't want it to be too, like, just these three colors and no other colors or anything like that. So I'm just I've got a few other little pieces that I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I've got another wood veneer piece from the Paige Evans Fancy Free. Did I call it that earlier? But that's what it is. I may have called it something different earlier. I'm not sure. But that's what it is. So I got this idea that I'm going to do this. This was a bad idea, but I'm not cutting out too much of me doing the bad idea, because I kind of want you guys to watch me do the bad idea and then save it a little. Not that there was necessarily anything wrong with this. I just did not end up liking it as much as I thought I was going to. Like, that, it is cute, but I like where I went after this. It took me a couple times, and then I glued it all down to another piece of paper, which I think is what you see here. Yeah, see, I had to glue it all down. It was just easier, but I just don't end up liking it. And I'm getting mad because there's glue on the bottom of my layout, and I rubbed it off, but then there's a little bit of dirt now, and you can kind of see that. This helped with the warping that was going on in my paper. I should be used to warping when it comes to working with mixed media, even if you use gesso, but the warping still bothers me. I know it doesn't bother some people, but I don't know what it is. It just bothers me. So anyway, so this helped with the warping. And then it kind of brought in that shape again, that diamond shape that I was doing. So I'm making just this tiny, tiny little cluster up top. I stuck down one of the flare buttons at the top. I took some chipboard and put that down. The wood veneer's down at the bottom with a label that I'm going to attempt to to stamp on and fail. So you get to watch like all my failures. I'm not a big hand letterer. Um, you'd think it would be something that I would do because I love typography, but I don't do it all that often. And yeah, you can kind of tell I don't do it all that often. And it wasn't really a good brush either, and I didn't practice. I didn't do anything at all. I just kind of filled it in, did a few little curls, made some of it thicker and thinner in spots, but it spread across the way that I liked, and it brought in a script font into the mix, so that was kind of nice. Using up some of the Freckle Fawn cute little puffy hearts. I got, I'm not sure if people got different ones. It kind of looked like there might have been either gold or silver. I got silver ones, and I didn't really want to put gold in this layout, so I went with the silver. I've been grabbing silver a lot more often now than before, so it's kind of weird, but I'm liking it. Still use gold, still love gold. Did something fall off? Yeah, I have wood veneer. I have to move it anyway because I screw up the staple or the stamping anyway. I always do this. I don't practice. It slid and then it slid and then it slid some more. And of course I'm using stays on, so of course it doesn't come off. So that's the end of that label. So it's time to grab another label. And I did stamp it nicely this time. So anyway, a lot of this is just trying to cover up that big brown kind of dirt stain from where I was rubbing off the glue. Oh my gosh. This is what happens when you don't scrapbook for a while, guys. You got to get back into it. I'm using the Shimmers colorings in Don't Citron Me, and it's a beautiful, beautiful green, and it matches so well, and I love it. And yeah, I'm so happy with how this came out because it's just so colorful and bright. And I love it. And now I'm going to play around with that for 2 seconds before I decide to just prop it up on some leftover foam dot adhesive that I have. But that's going to be the last thing that I do. I do leave it on, and I do pretty much put it right back in the same place. I just prop it up. So, yeah. Anyway. So pictures are coming up. Thanks for sticking with me. Yay. And yeah, so hopefully I'll get back into a lot more videos now that I'm back. So, see yas. Bye.